Sequence, a board and card game, was invented by Douglas Reuter in Minneapolis, Minnesota, over a 2-year period in the 1970s. Mr. Reuter originally called the game Sequence 5. Reuter spent years developing the concept, and, in June 1981, granted Jax Limited an exclusive license to manufacture, distribute and sell the board game, Sequence, and its subsequent variations. The game was first sold in a retail store in 1982. Gameplay Objective The object of the game is to form rows of 5 poker chips on the board by placing the chips on the board spaces corresponding to cards played from your hand. Equipment Playing board. Instructions: 135 poker chips. 2 full standard card decks. Directions Sequence can be played with 2 to 12 players, so long as the number of players is divisible by 2 or 3. If there are more than 3 individual players, they should divide evenly into 2 or 3 teams. With 2 teams, players alternate their physical positions with opponents around the playing surface. With 3 teams, players of a team must be positioned at every third player around the playing surface. Place the game board on a flat surface with enough room to allow for the draw deck, a discard pile and marker chips. Remove the jokers, if any, from the deck as they are not used in the game. To decide who goes first, one player then shuffles the card decks into one stack. Each player takes a card from the deck. The player with the lowest card deals. Shuffle once more. Each player or team then chooses a set of poker chips, and all members of each team must use the same color chips. The number of cards dealt to each player varies by the number of people playing: 2 players, 7 cards each; 3 players, 6 cards each; 4 players, 6 cards each; 6 players, 5 cards each; 8 players, 4 cards each; 9 players, 4 cards each; 10 players, 3 cards each; 12 players, 3 cards each. Each card is pictured twice on the game board, and jacks do not appear on the board. The player to the left of the dealer goes first. Choose a card from your hand, and place a chip on one of the corresponding spaces of the game board. Jacks are wild. 2-eyed jacks can represent any card and may be used to place a counter on any space on the board. 1-eyed jacks can remove an opponent unregistered trademark S token from a space. Players may use the 2-eyed jacks to complete a row or block an opponent, and 1-eyed jacks can remove an opponent unregistered trademark S advantage. However, 1-eyed jacks cannot be used to remove a marker chip that is already part of a completed sequence. Once a sequence is achieved by a player or team, it stands. Once a jack is played, it ends the turn. The played card then goes face up into OE discard a Euro pile, and play passes to the left. A player may place chips on either of the appropriate card spaces as long as it is not already covered by an opponent unregistered trademark S marker chip. If a player possesses a card which does not have an open space on the game board, the card is considered a dead and may be exchanged for a new card. When it is your turn, place the dead-on card on the discard pile, announce you are turning in a dead card, and take a replacement. Then proceed to play your normal turn. Strategy Each corner of the board has OE free Euro space that all players can use to their advantage. This space acts as if it has a chip of each color on it at all times. Chips are never actually placed on this space. To form rows, poker chips may be placed vertically, horizontally or diagonally. Each complete row of 5 is counted as a sequence. Sequences of the same color may intersect, but only at a single position. If the draw deck becomes depleted during play, shuffle the discard pile and begin again. Sequence rules dictate no table talk or coaching between team members and a precise order in which hands must be played. If you forget to replace a card on your turn, you cannot make it up in a later one and must continue playing the game with a reduced number of cards. Winning The game ends when a player completes the winning amount of sequences, 2 sequences for 2 players or teams. 1 sequence for 3 players or teams. 2 sequences, When two sequences are required to win, they can be in one straight row of 10 chips. However, this is accepted as a win only when one sequence does not interrupt the other. Once a sequence is made in the middle of the line, it disrupts the ends. For example, 5 plus 5 is acceptable, but a 2 plus 5 plus 3 is unacceptable. Variance equals unofficial variance equals. A fun alternative to standard sequence gameplay is to go past the minimal number of sequences to win. Players compete to fill the entire board with complete sequences of 5 chips. Keep score of 1 point per sequence created. Different from standard gameplay, a player may remove chips from completed sequences to prevent opponents from scoring. For added difficulty, do not reshuffle the deck should you run out of cards. Gameplay ends when the board is filled and no additional moves are possible. To declare a winner, tally up the points. Whoever has the most points wins the game. Official variations equals. Sequence comes in several versions, including sequence Euro states and capitals. Sequence numbers. Sequence 25th Anniversary Edition. Jumbo Sequence. Travel Sequence. Sequence Deluxe Edition. And Sequence for Kids. The major difference between the different sequence versions is the game board sizes, shapes and topics. There is also Sequence Dice, which uses dice instead of cards. The object of Sequence Dice is to be the first person to connect a Euro as a quincy Euro of 5 chips in a row on the board, just as in the original game. However, a player only has to achieve one sequence in order to win instead of the 2 sometimes needed in the original. The board displays 4 interlocking arrangements of the numerals 1 to 9 and pictures of dice. The 4 corner spaces on the board depict dice arranged in a Euro Osnik a Euro pattern. That is, displaying 1 and 1. The 4 spaces in the center of the board depict dice showing double sixes. Players who roll a Euro Osnik a Euro or double sixes may roll again. Legal issues. During a series of legal disputes, Douglas Reuter claimed Jax violated its licensing agreement, which would provide grounds for contract termination. In response, Jax denied any violation. Meanwhile, both sides continue to profit from game sales. Jax garners 80% of its revenue from Sequence. Reuter receives a royalty on sales of Sequence. Mr. Reuter has also started a new game company called a Euro OE Game Inventors of America, a Euro, which is located in Corinth, Texas. Unauthorized variations of Sequence have appeared many times over the years. Names of the unauthorized versions include One-Eyed Jack, Jack Foolery, and Jack Off. In a Euro OE One-Eyed Jack, a Euro, the board is constructed using actual playing cards. In March 2015, Jax Limited filed a legal claim against independent video game developer Iridium Studios over the name of their rhythm video game titled Sequence. Not wanting to pay legal fees challenging the claim, the video game developer promptly renamed their game to Before the Echo. References. External links: Sequence rules at Jax Limited, Incorporated. Sequence at Board Game Geek, How Sequence Works, How to Make a Sequence Game Board.